Professor Fivos, how are you? I'm Saulo Bahia from Brazil. You are in mute.
Olá, Saulo.
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Ok, mas eu preciso abrir a minha apresentação
Hum.
antes
É,
do Zoom.
I believe that Manuelita, the co-host, can allow you to share screen. I'm not host. No, I'm host now. Oh,
You,
hi,
you,
Hanine. How are
uh,
you? I'm host
Good
now.
evening.
Yes,
Yes, you should be able to share a screen without any problem. Every panelist can share a screen. There is a green button. We do see your screen, Dr. Favors.
yes.
You can see?
Yes, we
You
do.
Yes,
Yes,
can you see the first slide?
yes.
yes.
Okay, okay.
Not the second slide, just the first one. You can
The
try
second,
to.
no? Can you
No,
see
the
the
second
second?
no. No.
No? Oh,
Maybe now. Now we can see. Yes, we can see now.
can you see diagnostic, prognostic?
Yes,
Is that
yes,
what you
yes,
see?
yes, yes, yes. It was just a delay. Now
Okay.
it's nice.
Olá, Manuelita. Eu sou o
Olá.
Fivos.
Hi, good evening, good afternoon.
Yes,
Olá.
and speaks Portuguese very well.
Ah, que bom. Que ótimo. Um prazer.
Ensinei cursos em Portugal, Brasil também, na Universidade do Minho, na Universidade Federal do Rio de Janeiro, na PUC do Minho.
Ah, então já tem uma larga experiência. Que ótimo, então. Maravilha. Larga experiência em universidades falando português.
Sim.
Fala muito bem.
Eu não conheço muitos gregos que falam português.
É verdade, é raro. Na Suíça, quando eu fui à Suíça, eu vi que tem muita gente lá que descende de portugueses, né? Houve uma migração muito grande de portugueses para a Suíça.
Sim, é verdade. Migração portuguesa, não brasileira. Sim.
Exatamente, portuguesa. Perfeito. We are waiting for Professor Aaron Gordillo. He was supposed to be the first one, right? And then Professor Fivos, Professor Leopoldo Costa, and then Professor Alexander Zidansek. There is someone with Saulo Bahia, I don't know who is here. Professor Leopoldo Costa, right, or not? Here. So we have to wait for Professor Aaron Gordillo, right?
I believe that Professor Aaron is experienced some troubles to connect. May we invert
Yeah,
and
we
start
can.
with Professor Fivos?
Yes, perfect. Yes, I have already the PowerPoint presentation ready. So can we start right now, Professor Fivos? Yeah, I can
Yes,
introduce
certainly.
and then we
Okay.
start. Okay. Hi, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome all to the third Latin American WAAS meeting, Democracy, Artificial Intelligence, and Global Economy. Today we have the second session about regulation of artificial intelligence. And then we'll start with Professor Dr. Fivos Papadimitriou from Greece. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you. So I am affiliated with the Athens University of Economics and Business, the RECES laboratory, which is directed by Professor Phoebe Koundouri, who is member of the WAAS, and she's also the director of the Aiphoria network. And I grabbed the chance to present this network, which is a vast network of excellence of research on aiphoria, involving 200 researchers, more than 100 projects, and expanding over 120 countries, and having attracted more than $500 million funding in research. And at the bottom right part of the slide, you can see the founder, Professor Phoebe Koundouri. Now, as far as I am concerned, here are three of my papers which are published on Brazil, on Rio de Janeiro, Leblon, and geographical education in Brazil. I love very much Brazil. I'm fond of your country, and I will very much like to cooperate again. So I come to straight to my topic. AI has changed from diagnostic to prognostic and generative, and from weak AI to AGI, and then expectedly, possibly to ASI. Now, it's important to notice that the chatbots we so far use, although remarkable in their capabilities, are still classified as weak AI forms of AI. And then we have the anointed AGI, the artificial general intelligence, which is about to appear with human capabilities, and in the far future, the superhuman capabilities of artificial superintelligence. As intelligence increases, so do the so does the complexity of regulations required to manage these things. So I begin with the AGI challenge. This year, a few months ago, we carried a systematic research at our laboratory. We tried to analyze quantitatively and qualitatively the laws of several countries, the laws governing AI, and also the scientific production and also the scientific production worldwide on AI law and AGI. This is the paper. You can download it from this site. And what we found in this research, which covered countries from all continents, Australia, Canada, China, India, Israel, Japan, Norway, Russia, South Africa, UK, USA, and the EU, was first of all that the emerging major issue of artificial general intelligence is not addressed in the official legislation of AI of any of these countries. So no one is formally prepared to accept the onset of AGI. The most important words in the official AI documents were risk, safety, and security. Most you can see the countries that this map shows the countries in which the documents prevail, the words prevail in the official AI legislation documents. When we talk about risk, which is the most important word worldwide related to AI, we mean three forms of risk: misuse, misalignment, and mistake. That's, I think, convenient to remember. I call them the three mis. The misuse risk is when a malicious individual or group harnesses to cause deliberate harm. A misalignment risk is when AI may develop different goals than those who created it, people who created it, and the mistake risk when AI can cause harm by error. A misalignment example is Nick Bostrom's, the famous philosophers of ASI, the paperclip maximizer, an AI that works monotonically to make as many paperclips as possible. That's a trivial thing to do, certainly, and this is why he named it so. So eventually wiping out humanity in the process. What we found out is that the growth of scientific literature about AI law grows faster than that of AGI. You can see the growth in the literature, in the publications over the last 10 years. And here are the derivatives. You see that AI law grows faster than AGI papers. So that suggests that there is hope that we will able to harness the growth of AGI. Now, this is, I think, another interesting finding from these empirical research. It's that the number of papers published worldwide on AGI and on AI law per country. It's interesting to see that the dark indigo class is the countries with maximum production of papers related to AGI and simultaneously to AI law. So who is heading the race in AI law and AGI simultaneously? Four countries: the USA, the UK, Russia, and China. And Brazil is in a not bad situation at all. Now, the growth of AI towards AGI shows that there are questions of innovation supremacy. Countries capable of creating or controlling AI may dominate technological ecosystems. Then economic decoupling, AG leadership might trigger new trade blocks based on AI-driven supply chains, marginalizing countries without such infrastructure, and also posing natural security or cyber dominance threats like cognitive warfare. AGI may enable high-fidelity simulations, disinformation, and adaptive cyber attacks. Also can be used in dual uses. The same AGI can be used for climate modeling or medical research, can be repurposed for surveillance or coercion of masses, and that's something to consider, the dual use. Now, another thing to consider is the governance gaps related certainly to ethical struggles. No unified body currently regulates AGI. No, there is no one preventing or harnessing any risks that may emerge or come out from this technological development. Meanwhile, we have competing ideologies, and these emerge from our study as well, from the qualitative research. For instance, we have countries which favor rights-based approaches to AI, other ones favoring control-based, and other ones favoring innovation first. So we have three different approaches to harnessing AI, and certainly an institutional trust crisis, because without transparent governments, uh, uh, this could erode trust in governments and tech firms alike. And still, we need new institutions and global watchdogs to to monitor all this deployment of advanced AI, possibly AGI. Transparency will be important in reporting obligations, independent auditing and external oversight, security enhancement by adversarial stress testing of AGI systems against probable attacks, fostering explainable AI to monitor the decision-making process, and certainly international cooperation for coordination in AI policymaking, like, for instance, the G7 Hiroshima AI process and the GPAI, the Global Partnership for AI. Now, what lies ahead for the 5 years ahead? We have to draw our attention to two important developments. One is the technologies that interface AI with other technologies, and I will explain which ones right away. And then the onset of quantum computing and the transition from weak AI to AGI and then to ASI. I will explain, I will focus on the technologies with which AI can be interfaced. Robotics, face recognition, wearables, blockchain and IoT, and spatial computing. These pose significant challenges, even legal challenges. Why? Because, for instance, blockchain and IoT interfaced with AI can be used for very innocent purposes, like to optimize children allocation and nourishment, as done by the Indian NGO Akshaya Patra, or to impose totalitarian type control on everything. So the same applies to the interface of AI with face recognition. So be careful with interfaces of AI, not as much AI itself. Another thing to consider, which relates to all the technologies referred to before, is spatial computing. So geospatial artificial intelligence, VR, AR, XR, digital twins, and the metaverse. These are all explained, these interfaces with AI are explained in my book, which was published by Springer a couple of months ago, Spatial Artificial Intelligence. Now, this brings us to the road to artificial superintelligence. Other challenges wait us here. In December 2024, a paper was published by a Chinese laboratory which announced that AI can self-replicate. In mid 2025, this year, Mark Zuckerberg renamed his AI program Meta Superintelligence Labs. He used the word superintelligence to rename his laboratories. By 2027, it's estimated that it will be possible to create a chatbot 1,000 times faster and powerful than GPT-4, which is currently the most powerful one. And by 2028, AI will be able to oversee its own improvement. So these lead us straight to ASI. As AI pioneer Geoffrey Hinton, which was decorated with a Nobel Prize in December of the last year, stated that there is 20% chance that AI might lead to human destruction. And as Nata Soares and Eliezer Yudkowsky claim in their, well, state in the title of their book, which is to be published in September by Hachette, why superhuman AI will kill us all. If anyone builds it, everyone dies. Funny enough, but maybe not so much. But there is a bright side of things. Once AI can carry out 30% of tasks currently carried out by humans, the annual global growth will exceed 20%, is estimated by Epoch AI in one of its April reports. And for instance, we might expect emerging new jobs like prompt engineer, which is already there, AI safety engineer, transparency analyst, explainability strategist, ethics compliance manager, machine relations manager, interaction assistant, and so on. And I think a very bright side is which is, I don't know why, rather downplayed by the media, is the so-called constitutional AI implemented by Amadeus Anthropic company, which runs the Claude chatbot. This kind of AI that is um, used to run Claude is based on the UN Declaration of Human Rights and other official international legislation documents, so as to endow the 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 output of this chatbot with a kind of constitution regulating its behavior and its norms. The process involves the AI system critiquing and refining its own outputs based on the so-called constitutional rules, enabling to receive a kind of feedback, making the training more scalable and transparent. And I close with this, which I liked very much, from The Economist of 26th of July, a few days ago. Humanity may find its intelligence surpassed. It will still need wisdom. That's all for me. Thank you very much indeed for your attention.
Thank you so much, Professor Fivels. It was an amazing research with quantitative and qualitative data about a lot of countries. I was really impressed. And today is the National Day of Human Rights in Brazil. And the last part about the constitutional AI related to the UN Charter, it was so interesting. Thank you so much for your presentation. And now we'll have Professor Aaron Gordilho from Brazil. Please, you have the floor. Welcome.
Hi. Hi, Professora Manuelita. Hi, Professor
Hi.
Manuelita.
Hi, Professor Aaron. Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Recording in progress.
Just a moment, please. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
just
Okay.
okay.
Let me try to.
There is a sound coming back.
I have a problem. It's okay. It's okay. Let me leave that one. Professor Saulo, Professor Manuelita, can you hear me?
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
We can
now.
hear you very well. Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to thanks to Professor Saulo Casale invitation. It's a pleasure to be here with Professor Manuelita Hermes Rosa Oliveira, Professor Alexandre Zidanzek, Professor Fivos Papadimitriou, and all the Professor Leonardo Costa Jr., and all the participants of this seminar. And I would like to try to share my presentation, but if it is not possible, I can take my presentation without information.
You can share. You can share it.
Sure. Okay. I will share okay here. Okay. It's okay. Share. And Professor Saulo, I'm not at home. I'm here in Brasilia, in the Brazilian Board of Education. And
If you
I
want, you can put the presentation in the chat. I can open
okay.
and I can help you with this.
Okay, no problem. I'll talk about the plagiarism in the music and in the scientific articles. Okay, this is the subject of my presentation. Some kind of plagiarism in music is very common in the world. Some cases I would like to show you. In music, we will talk about some song is similar to other song if they have some compass or bars similar, a compass. It's to decide the justice decide if it was it's a illegal inspiration. It's very soft the line between the inspiration and copy or break the laws of the author rights. Okay, there are some very popular songs. I would like, for example, you can hear that song in this is a Brazilian song. Can you hear?
No, it's not. We cannot hear.
You cannot hear?
Yes.
No.
No?
No.
Oh,
Maybe the proximity is not so good. You can put
okay.
closer.
Better?
No.
No sound.
Yeah.
No. But it's not a music.
No, it's not clear.
Not. No.
Okay. This song is a Brazilian song. I can't see you.
We can see you. We cannot hear the music only.
Okay. Okay. This song is Maria Moita is a Edu Lobo song. And the song is similar like tan, it's at the beginning. It's just a riff. Tan 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 pa 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 da pa 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 pa. Nasci lá na Bahia de Mucama, sofredor. It's a very common song in Brazil. And it is and the English, the Britain group, one of the most important rock group or rock band in the world, they call it Deep Purple. And everybody knows this riff is the same riff. Dun, dun, Smoke on the Water. It's very popular, this song. The Brazilian song is Maria Moita, Edu Lobo, and the Deep Purple song is Smoke on the Water. But there is no judgment. The case, a case very famous case in the world is a song of Beatles song. A John Lennon song, Paul McCartney, and John Lennon is the singer. The song is called Come Together. Everybody know the song. Come together right now. is there is a very similar song of a Chuck Berry song. The Chuck Berry song is called was called "You Can't Catch Me." Very similar song, very similar lyrics, and Chuck Berry sued John Lennon, and in the end, John Lennon paid in, indemnization to Chuck Berry about this copy. The same with the group, the American group, a black American group called the Chiffons Girls, with the music. The music was called the Chiffons, and George Harrison. Everybody know the song is My Sweet Lord. My Sweet Lord is similar to the song of the Chiffons. He's so fine. You really like it? He's so fine. Can you hear? No. No. Okay.
Not now.
Okay. Yeah?
No.
You can identify the song?
No, no, no. We cannot hear.
No?
We cannot hear. I don't know why. Maybe
Okay.
you are
Okay. Okay.
not. Maybe you didn't put in the mode speaker, just the mode phone. It's
Yeah.
an
But no problem.
internal
No problem.
song,
No
not an
problem.
external song. Yes.
The problem is how to identify. It is very common in the artificial intelligence. There is a lot of songs in the world written by artificial intelligence. The same of scientific articles written by artificial intelligence. How to identify is very easy to identify. It's not easy, but it's possible to identify because you have the partiture, you have the how to write the song. Is one metric, there is a measure is to, to to decide. But in the scientific articles, when I copy one other professor or paraphrase or without quotation, it's very easy to prove. But when the article is written by artificial intelligence, is very difficult to identify. There is some platform that you can use to identify this because it's possible to analyze the patterns. This is because there is a evidence. You can compare the patterns of the writing to identify the formal language, the repetition, and it's possible. Even you can use some detector of plagiarism in a scientific article. This is I have some research about that subject. There is a problem in how to identify who is the author of this kind of. In Brazil, it's a crime, or even this to identify who is the author, the person who copy the platform or both. It's not easy to identify the local of the crime. Where is the ChatGPT, for example? How identify the competence, the jurisdiction, how to identify it. It's not easy. It's a very it's a field very interesting to identify and study about that. Unfortunately, I cannot share my presentation, but in general lines is that what I'm writing, and I'm trying to understand in the civil law, in criminal law too. And try to make a comparison between the plagiarism in music, and try to catch some experts of this, some lines to identify the plagiarism in artificial intelligence. Today, almost 70% of the music in the most famous Spotify is created by artificial intelligence. The music, the most popular music in the Spotify today is created by artificial intelligence. It is the information that I can catch in my research. In part of the scientific article in the world is written by artificial intelligence. So we need to create try to put a public policies to try to avoid this kind of creations and this kind of crimes or illegality against the author rights, rights of author. Professor Saulo, thanks so much for the opportunity. Sorry, because I'm here in a board of education for 5 days just to try to create a new forms of evaluation of School of Law in Brazil. So that is my contribution, and thank you so much.
No, thank you, Professor. You are working and at the same time participating at the seminar, and we know that it's complicated to be in Brazil like you work and participating. The technology allows it, and thank you by your thoughts and
I will send my presentation
questions.
to you, okay? So you can share
Okay.
with the.
Yes, in the chat. You can put in the chat. Let's go ahead, Professor Manuelita. Let's go.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Ron, for your participation and your perspective. It's so interesting. Bring the cultural perspective related to the songs, to the popular songs, also to the artificial intelligence and the difficulty to identify the plagiarism. I mean, I'm looking forward to read your article. And thank you so much for sharing your ideas and this interesting perspective about artificial intelligence, plagiarism, and popular songs culture. Thank you so much. The next professor was supposed to be Tainá Zonquilho, but she had an unexpected agenda here in Brasilia because we have now, it's happening now, a lecture of Professor Steven Levitsky talking about democracy here at the Senate. And she works for a senator, and she had to go with him to this lecture, and she apologized that she cannot be here with us. So I'll give the floor to Professor Leopoldo. Please, Professor Leopoldo Costa Júnior.
Mute. Unmute now. Unmute now.
Hello? Can you hear me? No?
Great, you can listen to you.
Okay. I will try to put my presentation here.
Not so clear. I don't know if you can
Sorry?
improve the sound. It's not so clear for me. I don't know how the others.
Are you
Maybe.
connected to the computer? Are you connected?
No, I have a problem with the earphone in the computer, and I use my mobile to make it speak, and I sent the presentation by my computer, so it's a mess here. But
Yes.
you don't hear me? Yes, I will try to. Let me try to. Okay. No. Oh, just a moment. I will try to use the sound in the computer, but I face some problems. I don't know if I will be able to. Hello?
It's
Can
better
you hear
for
me?
me. It's better for me, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I will try to.
Now it's mute the microphone, please. Turn on the microphone, please.
You're in mute, Professor Leopoldo. You're in mute. Mute.
I don't know if we can. Yeah.
Professor Leopoldo, I think you have to unmute in your headphones. You are using the wrong two headphones. I think you might have to switch. He's still having difficulty.
Professor Leopoldo, you need to avoid the use of headphones, maybe, because you are using two headphones and we cannot hear you from anyone. Please try to avoid the headphone. Try to disconnect the headphone. And you are muted. You need yes, now you are yes. Go ahead, please.
You are you hear me now?
Yes.
It's clear my voice.
That's right.
Let's go. So I will try to put my presentation here on the uh,
Maybe you need to share in the chat. I can open the file because when
Okay.
you use a cell phone, it's very complicated to share content, share files through the cell phone. You
I
can
I
put in.
I try to make this. Yeah.
Professor Leopold, maybe we can go to Professor Alexander when you try to find your file. You can
Okay.
put in the chat the file, would be
My
easier.
it's how to put the file in the webinar chat.
Yes, and after Professor Alexander, we can open your file if you cannot do that.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
It will be possible for me. It's okay.
Yeah. Let's go
Professor,
ahead, Professor Manolita. Let's go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, Professor
The
Alexander, you
show
have the floor.
the show must go on
Yeah,
with
great.
Professor Alexander now. Yes.
Many thanks. Muito obrigado, cara professora Manuelita, cara Saula. I'm particularly happy about this opportunity. I'm grateful to really be able to discuss the future that is actually here. I mean, a few years ago, nobody thought that future would arrive, but now it's here. So now we are kind of in this catch-22, caught between the Terminator and the Matrix futures, and it seems like whatever we do, it's the wrong thing that we do because something else should have been done, and afterwards it becomes obvious that we did the wrong thing. So anyway, I come from these three affiliations, Joseph Stefan in Ljubljana. Joseph Stefan is actually a physicist, the picture behind me. And I'm also grateful to all the organizations where we can share our knowledge, like World Academy, European Academy, Club of Rome. And so, as I said, basically, I'm talking about the need for survival. If we don't get this right, there is no human civilization left. And so, why do I say that? Because even before these AI opportunities and threats, we were 89 seconds to midnight. That was actually the closest to midnight we have been. Even the Cuban crisis was not as bad as today. So world is actually at war. But on the other hand, this accelerated growth, we have heard he was mentioning before the quantum technologies. There are also biotechnologies coming, which means that the potential is so much greater than anybody could imagine. That if you get this right, then we can come to abundance for every person on Earth, which is almost impossible really to comprehend. So this artificial general intelligence and then even artificial super intelligence is both opportunity and threat. So, but we don't have a second chance. We have to get it right the first time. If we talk about this invisible war, I know that South America has been a very lucky continent. You haven't had major wars for many, many decades or even centuries. But in Europe, it's different. In Africa, it's different. In the Middle East, it's different. And so if we start with physics, you see, time dilation was actually the invention of Einstein, or even before him, Lorentz and Fitzgerald. This is actually converging now also in the AI technologies towards a singularity. So what do we do is, of course, the ethical approach. If we think about Immanuel Kant, categorical imperative. What we do has to become a universal law, and we have to be really careful about it, that it's done right every single time. So on one hand, we have technology, amazing technology, but on the other hand, we need to be grounded in ethics if we are to survive. And if we survive, then abundance follows. So that's basically where we are at. Just a few words about where I come from. Jožef Stefan was actually a Slovenian physicist who worked in Vienna, Austria, and he had put Vienna on the map of leading physics centers at the end of 19th century. So Stefan law is actually the law of black body radiation, from which then quantum physics emerged. And then in Slovenia, we formed Jožef Stefan Institute in 1949. This is the first location, the second location, and this is the person who was actually responsible for forming it, Professor Anton Peterlin, who was also a supervisor of my supervisor, Professor Robert Blintz, also a World Academy member, and distinguished academics. But most of all, he was a good human being who cared deeply about humanity, and he actually presented the vision of this school that we are doing now, where we combine technologies and natural sciences and artificial intelligence for the 21 years now already. So, okay, everybody knows about Moore's law. It's not only going fast, but ever faster, which means that this artificial super intelligence is actually both an opportunity and a threat. It could discover equations, it can create new science. It already has calculated the protein structure, which was supposed to be an impossible problem, but now it can be used for personalized medicine. So basically, if we survive the next 5, 10 years, maybe 15 years, that means that you cannot die of a disease if this progress goes on like this. And then it's human-machine integration. It's not only the neural link, the computer and the internet at your thought, but it's also deeper and many more opportunities. So plenty of opportunities, which means smarter humans can do better science can then improve the quality of lives of everybody. And then, of course, there are threats. I talked about armed conflicts. It's not only, Sudan is terrible, Middle East, Ukraine, many other countries, but there is also environmental degradation, there is social exclusion, and there is economic destruction. And if you look at this, this is a little old picture without the recent wars, but still you see that there was like terrible war in Rwanda, and then there was terrible war in Ethiopia. And there are just, in spite of this great economic and ICT progress, the wars still keep continuing. So you see here the countries most damaged by war. And also you can see countries most damaged by poverty, which is quite similar. And then you can see this picture is actually interesting because up to until about 2008, 2009, everything was improving. You see, these democracies are rising. But then after that, in the last like 15 years, the autocracies began to rise, which is actually not good. I mean, we are getting smarter, but the society are getting not so good. Why is that? And well, what we do is some projects in competence development. It's like here is European projects basically. So we monitor the competencies and we try to make our students learn faster and better so that they can solve real world challenges. And to continue with this story on regulation, I started at the beginning with a controversial statement that whatever we do is wrong. So either it's Terminator or it's Matrix or it's maybe something even worse. So, but on one hand, this regulation always in history, when humans kind of standardized something, they got better. We got from those ancient societies to industrial age and to information age and to knowledge age where we are today. So it is usually a step forward, but here the difference is speed of change. You could take like a few legislative sessions to make it right in the past when it was a whole generation before something changed. But now what changes, every week something changes. Today one app is the best, next week another app is going to be better, in 2 weeks the third app is going to be better. So it's kind of difficult to kind of follow the speed of change. So here the question is like Hamlet, to do or not to do. We must do, but we must be careful. So one opportunity here is that we are actually exploring is this artificial intelligence for peace. So at the World Academy, basically this was actually initiated by our great friend Ivo Schlaus, who is actually still very active and he lived through the World War II, where there have been terrible situations and really a lot of suffering. So he knows that the wars must stop. So that's basically his message: stop all wars now. And this stop all wars now is actually the initial call to action, which at the Academy we actually call Global Peace Offensive. Donato Chinigar-Pasilies actually came up with this term based on the Osgood, who was a famous psychologist 60 years ago. And the idea is to build trust by graduated reciprocation, intentional reduction. So, because it's not enough to stop the wars, stop the fighting, but you need to build the trust. Otherwise, it will repeat, and it will repeat in a worse situation. So, like after World War I, it seemed like the wars are over, but then one of the countries who was defeated, like Germany, didn't like the outcome and they didn't have trust, so they went in another direction. The second war even worse. So that's why it's important that not only to stop the war, but to really make a good trust after the war. And for this purpose, we are actually building now a peace offensive working group at the World Academy, and we have created great partnership with European Academy, with Alma Mater European University, Club of Rome, many other organizations, and also Global Peace Offensive Center will work in Maribor. This is actually an initiative of Professor Ludwig Toplak at Alma Mater European University, which actually wants to add science and to this necessary activities to break through, stop the wars, and create lasting peace, which is not only the absence of war, but the abundance of goodwill and good values on all warring sides. So the road ahead is, of course, we need regulation, and probably it has to be built by AI, because humans are not smart enough anymore to build such regulation. But it also has to be monitored. You cannot let AI run away, because then you have terminators or even worse stuff. So that we need probably some blockchain for building trust so that we know what happens. So blockchain can probably monitor, and we know who did what and what happened. And of course, the third thing is this ethical component. So this is what we learned from our friend Ivo Schlaus. He always said it's important to love one another because those values actually bring good results. And then the last step is symbiosis between human and machine. So we need to learn to live in good symbiosis with the machine, because that's basically the only way we can live from now on. In the past, there were no machines. In the future, if we have to live with machines, then we have to learn how to live well, which means it has to be ethical on the values of love for one another. We need trust like blockchain, and some other machine has to monitor the regulation. So the final challenge is, of course, who will control this regulator, the AI regulator, how to tackle those who want to escape, like the rogue AI who want to kind of do something bad. And of course, in order to do that, I invite everybody to join us in the Global Peace Offensive Work Group at World Academy. I know that South America doesn't have much wars, but still it's very important for everybody, because these wars are kind of exported to other continents. You see the Africa, which is not indigenous, it came out from outside. and very similar things can happen everywhere. So that's why it's really important. So anybody who wants to work with this, let me know. We are going to, I think this will be officially established very soon, probably already in August, September. And I just want to show just a little GIF which shows what this AI is actually doing. So everything is becoming digital, no more physical, every physical object goes into your computer in your phone, or maybe even the phone and computer are going to disappear, which of course, with thanks for your attention, I would really like to reiterate our invitation to join us in the Global Peace Offensive Work Group. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Alexander. It's a relief to listen to you, to hear all your ideas. But I mean, even if we are in Latin America, we have the world to keep the eyes on, and sometimes it's something hard to believe in love and peace and everything like this. But thank you so much to this approach, to this hopeful approach, and congratulations for the working group, the Global Peace Offensive. Thank you so much. And now I think we have the opportunity to listen to Professor Leopoldo Costa Jr., and the presentation will be shared by Professor Saulo Bahia. Please have the floor, Professor Leopoldo.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay. I think that the problem is that my mobile enter with the panelist role, and my PC is on the attendant role, I think, because in
Yeah, this
the mobile I found the buttons to 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 share the presentation. But let's go on. My
and you
uh,
and Professor Leopold, excuse me, when you want to choose the slide, you can order. I will do that. The first
okay,
page
okay,
is
Saulo, thank you.
already showed.
Well, my purpose in this presentation is to focus on artificial intelligence impacts on unemployment. I will make this from a post-Keynesian framework, and I will try to give some tips from or some ideas from how can we deal with this new technology. Well, first of all, I'm teacher at the University of Brasilia. I'm working in the Industrial and Commerce department at the federal government, and I use as a user, and I deal with artificial intelligence as a policymaker. Well, make this background. Next, please, Professor Saulo. Well, artificial intelligence has eliminated about 78,000 jobs in 2025 only in tech companies layoffs. And we expect that, and deployers expect that further workforce reduction will occur. And this is only a side. I put a theory about the impact of AI in the some sectors. Um, and my point is that we are witnessing the third wave of technological unemployment. The first one was the transition to rural to urban areas, and the beginning of the industrial revolution. And after that, we had industrial automation, and now we have a different impact on the labor, that we are going to put the necessity of a different approach to deal with this impact, this phenomenon. Next one, please, Professor Saulo. Well, my point here that we think that a post-Keynesian approach it's better to deal with this kind of technology because the neoclassical or the approach ignores some specific points that are fundamental to understand and to deal with this kind of technology. For instance, neoclassical considers that the wage flexibility we can deal with the deployment matter, don't deal with the fundamental or non-ergodic uncertainty, and think that technology has a kind of optimal efficiency path. And for us, uh, are some different points that I like to point here: the effective demand, the fundamental non-ergodic uncertainty, the path dependence of technology. This will lead to some kind of active intervention of the state, of the society, and to make the policy for artificial intelligent technology. And we have to deal with uh, the whole problem of the society, not only with the kind of the economic problems that we are only or we think when we deal with this kind of problems. So we are the point that we need is some kind of post-Keynesian approach to deal with the AI technology. Next one, please. Um, the theoretical foundation for our rationale is a classic profit equation and the kind of AI disruption that they make in the economy. Right? What will occur here is that the massive investment that we need to make to make the artificial intelligence a kind of feasible and to the society, and the effect that this have on the the workers that lost their job or have to upskill or have to change the sector that we have will it will have a strong effect in the labor market. Uh, Only we will um, uh, talk a little about this in the next slide, but our point is the capitalist consumption. It's not not we wish to compensate the loss of worker purchasing power. We have a kind of concentrate, a lot of billionaires, and we have a lot of people we have none or very little uh, capacity of purchasing power. This will lead to demand deficiency, and this will uh, uh, lead the economy to a chaos. The next slide, please, Professor Saulo. Well, these are some data about the effect of AI on the on the job market. The job displacement patterns are estimated about 85 million jobs displaced globally by 2025. This will affect strongly customer service and retail workers. 8% of customer service, 65% of retail jobs we face in risk about because of the artificial intelligence. in manufacturing, 2 million works is at risk by 2030, and transportation about 1.5 million. The next one, please. Perfect. And the AI technology have a strong or will cause strong demographic and geographic disparities. Artificial intelligence have a gender disparities. Women are more affected by this kind of technology than men, and have some geographic disparities uh, because of this spillover of this kind of technology, and also a kind of a skills gap. Uh, we expect new jobs, but there are a lot of jobs that will disappear, and this displacement will not will will it's not automatic that the people who lost their jobs will find another one after some times. These people, in a lot of cases, will will be without their jobs for a lot of time. And this kind of this Pew Research Center data, I think it's 2022. Some of this data probably has changed, but it's a kind of figure that illustrates my point here. Next, please, Professor Saulo. And what we need to or we can do with this kind of situation, we need a kind of regulation to deal not only with what the technology use for the data that they use to to produce its output, but also with the people who will be affected by the uh, by that technology. And what we find, what we look for the regulation all over the world, it's that only 50% of countries have a kind of regulation that that is AI specific. But in these frameworks, very little of this framework deal with the problem of the what we do with the jobs that will disappear, or the skills that will change in the market, like in the labor market. In Brazil, we are also discuss in Brazilian Congress a law to regulate artificial intelligence, but in this discussion we have some kind of the standard discussion that not deal with the problem with the what we will do with these jobs, or what we will do with these people. The next one, please, Professor Saulo. We did a brief discussion about the European Union AI Act. They are more concentrated on risk on the risk-based classification, but this is some kind of important, but not deal with the deployment effects. They made some assumptions that informal work can negotiate effectively their situation, their wage, their hours that they will work, but we think that is a kind of ineffective because we are in a asymmetric power dynamics. And the third point is about this article, the regulation, regulatory arbitrage. And I think that's an article that allows exception to create regulatory gaps. And we think that companies can exploit these gaps to implement a AI system with minimum oversight, and this will have some kind of unemployment effects also. The next one, please. And what is our idea to deal with this kind of problem? Traditionally, the governments are thinking about training their workforce to deal with this upskilling programs uh, by companies, but we think this kind of approach is insufficient because I think that we will have jobs for all these people, and probably we need that people work less than before in this new world when we have this AI technology spread in the economy. Our proposal it's a ELR program. It's a employer of led research programs. It's an idea that I discussed in the post-Keynesian economists in the paradox economists about how we can deal with the or how can maintain the effective demand during this transitions. In this kind of program, the state supposedly act as employer of less research, and the state will employ the people who don't find a job. Uh, this kind of mechanism, obviously, we can we need to think how can we we we, uh, we fund this program, but they will provide a kind of automatic stabilization. And in this in this graphic on the on on the right, we have a simple graph showing how this will work. If the state buys some amount of jobs or employs some people, this will make the price of this jobs, the wage to uh, to grow, and this will make a kind of uh, guarantee for these people that we will have some kind of wage. Another instrument that we can associate with this, it's a fixed wage anchor that prevents deflationary spirals during this phase of AI displacement, because they will establish a wage floor, and we can use this labor. We can direct this labor for some kinds of areas that we need to some efforts of public policies like care work, environmental restoration, community services, and so on. Next one, please. It's a kind of conclusions, or idea this Canadian regulatory imperative will deal better with this kind of displacement that AI technologies will lead. Uh, because AI technologies will cause a permanent demand deficiency. And we think that the kind of regulation that we have now, they have a regulatory blind spot. They not see that we have a kind of different way to deal with this change of paradigm with this kind of a problem that AI technology will cause. The policy framework is to implement this employee of last resource programs to guarantees these jobs during the AI displacement, a kind of progressive AI capital taxation to fund this kind of employment programs from its productive gains. Uh, if possible, I know that we have a big problem to coordinate policies of different countries, but will be useful to have a kind of sector coordinator bodies to monitor the adoption of this kind of technology and coordinate this transition during this phase. And finally, it's important a kind of international coordination to prevent regulatory arbitration across borders. So it's that our point that the post-Keynesian stability, we have the choice of post-Keynesian stability with this kind of program, or a kind of of neoclassical market chaos caused by the only the market will deal with the workforce problems, the problems that we will arrive with this kind of situation. The last slide. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Leopoldo, for your talk to us. And I guess the challenge is the coordination. I mean, this displacement, employment displacement, and from all the talks, we have a kind of consensus here that we need AI regulation, and the employment must be a topic, must be also regulated because of the displacement and the need of a coordination. So thank you so much. We have time enough now to questions and discussion.
Yes, people from the panelists or even all the attendees that are present now can use the KA question and answer and formulate some questions. And the panelists are free also to formulate questions. And we have to say that Professor Tainá Junquilho is not now with us because she was called up by the National Federal Senate today to take part in a conversation about Trump's tariffs. So it was an emergency and she was unable to stay with us. She is discussing some kind of negotiation now, and apologize her absence today. We are experiencing the highest tariffs in the world now, so established by the United States of America. So the negotiation still goes on, and Any panelists want to comment the presentation of
Each other.
some other? We didn't receive questions from the attendees, but or from the YouTube.
If I may, dear Saulo, dear Manuelita, first thank you for this organization, for this wonderful event today. I mean, it was really great, and it contributed a lot of brainstorming towards the good direction. And I think we see that something has to be done. We also see that humans are most likely not smart enough to do the right thing, so we need like an assistance from machines, but these machines have to be guided ethically, and this ethical guidance means that we need to install the best values that humanity has into the machines, and how to do it is a challenge. So it's going to be a challenge from now. I think more or less every moment is going to be a challenge, but this final destination that we arrive to is so good that it's worth taking the effort. And I noticed there were some comments in the comment sections. One question was this about the offensive, which might not be a good word, and still, I mean, Donato, our vice president, actually came up with this following his discussions with Osgood in about half a century ago, and now is actually a good time to implement this and to advance the science and to really, I mean, if you think that war is offensive, then let's do something about it and change this into a situation into the peaceful and abundant future that is available today if we do everything right. So that's basically my final thank you to all the organizers for a wonderful meeting and great discussion. Thank you, dear Saulo, my friend. Thank you, dear Manuelita. Thank you all participants.
And we received a question from our fellow, our very distinguished fellow from Egypt, Fadwa Guindi. She asked us, all panelists, what human activities cannot be replaced by technology? Who wants to answer? Fivos, Professor Fivos, Professor Leopoldo, Professor Alexander, any activity cannot be replaced?
It's actually a very difficult question. I think it comes from the definition, what is a human, what is the universe, what is the world that we live in, so what constitutes a human being? And I mean, as a physicist, it's not such a simple answer as it appears, because, you know, in physics we have this weird quantum physics, and we have those strange entangled states, and human being as an entangled wave function is actually something quite different than what we see with our eyes. So we kind of believe that human beings exist and that this essence of human being will remain, while other things will probably be done by machines sooner or later. You know, in 5 billion years, there will be no Earth, no solar system, this solar system. In several thousand billion or trillion or whatever years, even the universe will probably cease to exist, but still something will remain, which means that I think this goes beyond our human comprehension. So personally, I think that something actually exists, that human beings exist, but what is a human being is actually a problem which is by physics not yet possible to be defined, but we are striving forward. We know more every year, and sooner or later we will know more than we know today. So this is my short answer.
Yeah.
Let me try to answer some. I have some points in this case. As a professor, I faced before that laser discs will replace professors, internet will replace your professors, and now we are. I will say that I will heard that AI technology will replace professors. This make think about what is the important in this kind of relationship that we have with our students. And I think that's the point is exactly that the relationship. It's a relational. Uh, it's our relation with the the human beings, the other people, including the other animals. It's a kind of a relational that is hard to will be replaced by a technology. I don't know if the AGI will can make this possible in this kind of the the OpenAI just launched the GPT 5 and the people uh, dislike this kind of upgrade because the version 5 lost something, lost kind of empathy that GPT-4 the previous versions had. I think that's not a kind of cognitive intelligence. We have another uh, types of intelligence that make us human. It's not only our capacity to solve problems that made us human. It's only an idea, but it's important, for instance, for the what kind of jobs will we have in the next future? There's a kind of job that probably care workers that we deal with olders, with people with disabilities. It's hard today that a kind of robots or machine or will have this capacity. It's my idea.
I would
Yes.
like to elaborate on these very thoughtful um, approaches to what might be preserved as purely human activity. I, I I fully agree with what has been said to this point, but I would like to add some more perspectives. Um, Deep emotional connection and empathy, comforting a grieving friend, nurturing a child, holding the hand, and nurse holding the hand of a patient at a hospital. These things AI can hardly learn, yeah, at least in the near future, and can hardly do in the near future, or even in the remote future. I mean, we can expect AI to be inserted in uh, technological outlets like robots or other hardware, and then endow it with capabilities of handling different problems and even demonstrate some artificial empathy. But it cannot, for instance, uh, do what an elder person passing down oral history to a young generation. It cannot make authentic cultural transmission. It cannot still cannot um, produce creativity driven by lived experience, not not by imagery input in data sets like ImageNet, but for example, a poet writing about love after a breakup. I mean, these are purely human activities. Also, there is another field which is the relationships of between humans and non-human forms of life. I don't see how AI, for instance, might interact with cats or dogs or monkeys or parrots or I think we are it is very far behind the what humans can do in this respect. And I can certainly think more. I'm sure about that.
Yeah, you are sure. Let me say that the fellow Jerry Glynn wrote about two things that we can do about artificial intelligence, right? Your legislature to begin drafting legislation to authorize national science and of artificial general intelligence, and write your minister to call for a UN General Assembly specifically on artificial general intelligence. I believe that many countries we saw today, 81, are worried about artificial general intelligence and trying to regulate, create some kind of regulation. And even the United Nations started to worry about it uh, because we know the risks, and all the panelists today put the finger over the risks from the general artificial intelligence. I believe that the World Academy of Art and Science elected this kind of theme as a big issue of our times. We are discussing, we are trying to involve ourselves in this discussion. We are observer at the United Nations General Assembly. We are promoting seminars. We are writing, producing texts about it. And our seminar, this seminar, decide to elect this issue as a main issue to discuss here. We know that this kind of discussion can contribute for a growing of a consciousness about the problem, and some policies always could be driving after these discussions. It's a big issue. We heard last week about some policies taken by the United States of America that discovered that a program of war is established in with the base of general artificial intelligence to react against aggression without human control, when this human control for any reason cannot be possible. The machines will decide to establish a counter attack by itself, and it's real. It's a nuclear war. It's closer this kind of reality than we imagine that only in movies could be possible. The movies world, it's closer than we never thought. It's very complicated. The WAAS is worried about it. I believe that the fellows of WAAS are uh, committed with this kind of uh, discussion, and for this we are together here discussing and trying to learn a bit more. And we have to congratulate Professor Leopoldo, Professor Alexander, Professor Fivos for about the insights and ideas about general artificial intelligence. Even Professor Edon that pointed in the field of music, the risks that also are present. What do you think, Professor Manuelita?
Thank you. Yes, it's a real challenge for the whole world for me. I'm a little bit afraid, I have to say, about the speed that things are taking this moment with a lot of high speed and the lack of regulation. My main thoughts are related to the regulation. We have a lot of countries that are trying to regulate, but we have some efforts against the regulation. And the talk from Professor Leopold about the employment and the displacement, and talking from our country, for our region, remembering that we are in Latin America, the Latin America seminar, we are in a region with a lot of unemployment. And this kind of technology, the artificial intelligence, it's worse for us because of this. And it meets sometimes some interests. And I mean, my point is a social point. I work with social rights and everything. So these we need to regulate. We need to pay attention, even at the government. I mean, it's a trend right now to have artificial intelligence also in the state, also in the government, and it means a lot of things related to unemployment, related to the problems that we have in our country, like Brazil, the problems that we have in our region, Latin American region, and sometimes we import regulation from Europe. We import regulation from European Union. It's another context. It's a quite different context. So it's everything so in a speed that we cannot reflect sometimes about the inspiration of a regulation, about the importation of some regulation. And this, for me, right now, is my main topic related to all the artificial intelligence, and we contextualizing the topic with Latin America and with Brazil. We need to take care of the social rights. But I learned a lot from the talks from all the panelists. It's amazing being here. We have tomorrow another session, and it's really good to have this kind of discussion here at the Academy. Thank you so much.
And you will be together tomorrow, the last panel 3, about regional integration. So see you tomorrow. Oh,
See you tomorrow.
Let's conclude for today. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Muito obrigado.
Okay.
Tudo bem.
Oh, what nice Portuguese. Congratulations.
Obrigado.
Obrigado.
E até a próxima vez.
Até.